And so when you do research, so much of it leads you to the American Academy for Oral Systemic Health. Mm-hmm. Chris Kammer's there. I mean, he's the founder, so of course he's going to be everywhere. When I saw him, I was like this crazy fan running towards him. I'm surprised they let me come back. Tells you a lot about the AAOSH bunch.
Yeah. No, but
they don't have security.
No. Here's the thing though. On that topic, no, Machell was my first fan ever, and I thought that was really cool until 3 weeks later, I'm at home and I looked out in the front yard and there she is standing in the front yard of my house.
In the rain.
Wait, yes.
Yes. And screaming my name. I'm going
holding my big toothbrush.
I was going to say, did she have a boombox over her head?
Something was just so wrong about that. But you know what? I think someone talked to her, and since that time, we've never had a problem.
Oh, that's good.
Got the medications equalized, and everybody's good.
Who had a talk to her?
I am.
Okay, got it.
All right, is it time to start?
Recording season 3 of Off Your Flosser podcast.
Already? What do we want the people to do?
Find us. YouTube, Apple Podcast, we're everywhere. Like, follow, subscribe.
And go floss yourselves.
Are we going to be able to understand anything that Machell says?
Do you not understand anything I'm saying?
I can hear you.
Am I screaming at you?
Does she? Okay. Yeah.
Am I screeching? Do I normally do that to you, Chris?
I don't know. I mean, we're going to go with it because maybe on Zencastr it's perfect. Nikki?
We're going to hope so.
We're praying for that one. Okay.
If not, we can hear her. And
you're just going to mute me out.
All right.
I am recording. We're ready whenever.
So you can use any of those.
If you want me to play the intro music, I can. I have it pulled up.
Oh, yeah, because that'll get Sandy, Lee, and Carlos all fired up when they hear our intro music. They go, dang, I wish we had intro music like that.
No one's got intro music like that.
Let's see. What do you got?
Music. Carlos, check it out. I'm sure you do. All right. So now ours will pale in comparison to yours, but come listen to it anyway. It's time to live! And this is the podcast.
I'm Machell Hudson.
And I'm Dr. Chris Kammer.
Our mission with this podcast is to bring you the kind of wealth that money can't buy.
If you're healthy and you're happy, you will discover what is truly priceless in this world.
That's our destination.
So let's get there together.
This podcast is brought to you by AAOSH, the American Academy for Oral Systemic Health. They bring medicine and dentistry together to empower a higher quality of life.
Sandy Lee loved it so much.
Uh-oh.
She froze up. She'll be back probably.
Yeah, she's gone on Zencastr too.
Yeah.
Hey, this is the podcast from hell. Because it just is. We just lost our guest. Machell is sounding like she's broadcasting from inside of a paper bag. But dang it, Carlos is here.
Carlos,
looking fly.
I promise we're usually much more organized than this.
No, sure. It's totally believable. It's I'm sure it's just
totally
today.
Believable.
No, we have the same. I don't know what goes on whenever we have a guest. We have the same bugs. So I apologize.
We're here with Carlos Rodriguez.
Hello.
I've never interviewed anybody with so much excitement, and I'm not sure if we're even starting the Ding Dangy show yet. That's what Blake Shelton.
Oh, it started.
Ding Dangy. This is our Ding Dangy show, and it's called Time to Live. Because why? Because if you're healthy and you're happy, that's worth more than $10 in your back pocket. I mean, it's ultimate riches. You might be super mega rich, and I wouldn't mind trying it, but the real happiness is with the real what we all want in life is health and happiness, right? Am I right, Carlos?
Good to see you again, Doc.
Carlos, hey, we are with Carlos Rodriguez. He is a mangenist, which is not really what he is, but it's a hygienist who's a man. How do we say that? What's the proper way to say your?
I've heard guygenist.
Guygenist. That's it.
I don't like to differentiate. I just want to be a hygienist.
Lee!
And there's my partner in crime, Sandy Lee.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. Now, so
son of a
Carlos and Sandy Lee, who was just about to swear, but she didn't. She held back. Thank you. A lot of children listen to this podcast, Sandy Lee. So be on your best behavior. Carlos has told me things, so I'm just trying to keep you in check. I don't even know where I was going.
Nikki has a mute button.
Yeah, right. So if anybody starts getting a little spicy with their language, Nikki does have a mute
It's
button,
usually only Chris that gets muted, though.
It's usually me.
And deservedly so. Carlos, should you and I just hit our own mute buttons right now and let Sandy Lee and Machell just take it?
We could take this.
I've got some things that are just bubbling up that are really nasty that I want to say, and I'm holding them down, but it's getting tough, brother.
Sometimes you gotta let it flow, Doc.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we had Carlos Rodriguez. I met Carlos on Smiles at Sea through the graciousness of Elijah Desmond, who is the CEO, the guy in charge of the whole Smiles at Sea,
the
enterprise.
Architect.
Yeah, and Carlos is he's a funny guy. He's a guy genus, but he's a comedian, full-time comedian, and to make sure he's funny, he pays his co-host Sandy Lee to laugh at his jokes. No, that's not true.
Oh,
I'm gonna be bad.
She's getting better. She's
today.
getting better.
Okay. But Carlos and I met a couple years ago, and Carlos was kind enough to come on to our Hot Topics talent event and just throw down some great jokes. Now, Carlos, I'm going to ask you right off the bat, when Machell got in there and tried to kind of slip a joke in, are you sensitive to that when other comedians or even people that say they have a joke they go, oh, I have a joke, and yet you're the real funny guy, but the people come in and they go, I got a joke. What's that like? I don't know. Tell me. Talk to me.
Well, it's.
I mean, do you remember my joke? Do you remember my funny joke?
I think I guessed it.
Machell, refresh us.
Did I guess it?
Give us the quick version.
Yeah.
Give me the 10-second version of the joke. Go.
Carlos is like shaking his head. No,
hit me.
Like, I remember this.
He's good. Go.
Sandy Lee,
bring it.
get ready.
All right.
I'm ready.
Where do dads go find other cool dads to hang out with?
All right, let me repeat it because it does sound like Michelle's talking from inside of a paper bag. It's a sound thing. We're going to work it out. Where do dads go to find other cool dads to hang out with? Sandy Lee, Carlos, what do you got an answer?
I can't remember what the punchline was.
Oh, it's so good. The database.
Oh
the database.
Oh
the database.
That was so hilarious.
So what's funny about that joke is that it's not funny, but I can't tell that joke without dying. It's so dumb, it's funny to me.
Those are the kind of jokes you need about 6 or 7 of them in a row before you gotta water down and then go with it.
More like you gotta wear them out.
Yeah.
Wear them down.
To the question, Carlos, when people try to, kind of ease in or bust in on your territory,
okay,
this is your territory, brother. And Machell just trying to squeeze in. What?
Everybody deserves a shot. What irks me is when somebody tries to, tweak my jokes or add a punchline or something to it. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, sure. Like when people say, "Oh, Carlos, it'd be funnier if you said this."
Right? Yeah.
Man, do you just want to upside the head?
Unsolicited
on those people?
advice is never good. But if you want a shot and do jokes, Sandy, I don't know, she hasn't said anything too crazy today, but we have some of the most amazing conversations, and she's not a comedian in the traditional sense of doing stand up, but she's one of the funniest people I know. So.
What?
So Carlos and Sandy Lee have a podcast, and it's called Off Your Flosser with Carlos and Sandy Lee. And and Machell and I have been doing podcasts for, about a couple weeks now, a week and a half. And
we
asked our board, that's what they what?
If you asked our board.
If you asked our board, they say, I think they've been doing it for a couple of weeks.
I don't even know that they know there is a podcast.
They don't even know there is a podcast.
Well, there's a podcast. Oh.
We're very blessed that we get to do this. Thanks to Nikki and Machell. We're a team. We have a lot of fun. But Carlos and Sandy Lee have been doing this for like 2.5 years, and they're up to over 100 podcasts.
Wow.
Yeah.
So for those, and podcasts has really become a thing. Like, I think, it's even bringing radio listening down. A lot of people are listening to podcasts, so it's a very, very good thing to do. How did you two decide to get together and do a podcast, and then what kind of podcast were you going to have, and how that was going to serve the world? Okay,
well,
go.
I'll do the first half. I was on a Smiles at Sea cruise, and I was about to do my CE/comedy show, and this drunk lady comes up to me and she goes, "Hey, I'm pretty funny too. We should work together." And I go, "Okay," and I just kind of didn't, pay any mind.
It's true. It's true.
And then a couple weeks later, our buddy Elijah, and then Sandy, you want to take it from there?
Yeah. So,
Elijah
it's
Desmond.
so true. It's so true.
Yes.
I mean, it's Smiles at Sea. It's a party on a boat in the middle of nowhere with dental people. So I was like, I feel like I was attached to his hip that night because I was like, I'm going to make this man see me as a co-host. That's my goal in life right now.
Yeah, like that.
So,
that's good.
Usually when I drink a little too much, I'm like hanging on people and stuff. So I did a little bit of that. I think I wore him down a little. But it was basically, he was just like, okay, I don't even know you, but, so then it was, I was at another conference a little time later, and Elijah messaged me, and he goes, "Hey, you and Carlos would make an awesome team. You guys should team up and do a podcast." And I go, tell that to Carlos because I have already tried. That man
and
is
here's
so
$20.
difficult.
Make this happen.
So he goes, hold on a sec. And then group message, Carlos, me, Elijah. Elijah goes, hey, you and Carlos, or you and Sandy, you guys need to do a podcast together. Carlos, what's wrong? Carlos goes, okay. And then bam.
So he was a tough sell, is what you're saying, Sandy Lee. He was a tough sell.
In his defense, I was drunk.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Drunk people are the most fun people. So
and I was stone sober because I don't perform under the influence. You know what I mean?
That's right.
I'm always sober. So when you're the only one that's not you're the designated driver or whatever, and everybody else is having a great time, you're like, oh my God, I just want to go home. You know what I mean? That type of thing. So, so I didn't know she was serious. I just figured it was just banter. But it turned out, and we got a website about to drop, and
it's
we went
ready.
Video. What, about a year and a half ago, right?
Yeah.
And
cool. We went video.
It took a while to figure that out.
Yep.
How to get the audio and the video, everything synced up, but we cracked the code.
Know you're working really hard behind the scenes, and I just want to also mention though, Sandy, the point of this show is to try to help people enjoy life, like how it's time to live, people. It's like Carlos, you mentioned you've seen some sad people, but what I like about Sandy, she clearly not a sad person, and Sandy Lee, you had your eye on the prize. You saw that man, Carlos, that big hunk of human
that bald,
comedy,
beautiful Puerto Rican man.
Yeah, and he said, I could make sweet podcast music with that guy.
Yes.
I love it.
That was her destination.
Yeah.
Boom.
But Carlos, what you have a passion for people that are sad. Somehow that played into you wanting to be a comedian. How do you know when people are sad? You're telling us that you've seen people out there in the world that are sad. Is this something you just know, or can you spot it?
I don't know. I'm super empathetic and super emotional, and I deal with my own heavy feelings sometimes. Life doesn't always go the way you want it to. So I try to counteract the seriousness and the heaviness of just a day-to-day life, and family members and people don't talk to each other, and you lose a family member here and there. So everybody has stuff that they deal with. Your own diagnoses. I think, without going into detail, I'm sure, I know, well, at least one of us here has been in the hospital, quite recently, and if not a couple more. But so I just try to. It makes me feel better to make other people laugh. So I don't know if it's therapeutic for me.
Yeah.
It's cathartic for sure, but it makes me feel better to see someone else laugh. And I don't know if that's selfish on me or not, but.
So tell me, when was the first time that you remember powerfully when you were much, much younger and you made someone laugh? There's probably somebody that comes to mind and you go like, I like making people laugh. Who did you make laugh? And what kind of an impact did it have on you?
I grew up, we didn't have a lot of money. We had a lot of love and a lot of food, but not a lot of money growing up. So we didn't have the nicer things, you know what I mean? Like other kids got the Simon Says. You remember the Simon Says video game? I got a deck of cards, or you know what I mean? A top. You guys remember tops with the string and all that?
Yeah.
Back in the late 70s. I don't know how old anybody else is, but just bootleg, bottom rung, toys. So all you had was just your voice, and you had to entertain each other, And my mom had gone through divorce with my dad, and times were tough for a little bit. So I was the oldest son, and I would make her laugh, just say crazy off the wall things. I told her this recently. Well, not recently, maybe about 6 months ago. I go, Mom, I got a part-time job. I don't think you're gonna like it though. She goes, What are you doing, baby? What are you doing? I go, I'm an exotic dancer. She goes, Carlos, are you serious? I go, Mom, I know. I knew you weren't gonna. I go, there's a sub segment, and it's for bigger guys, and people pay to see it. She goes, Are you serious? I go, Yeah. I was there for like 8 hours last night. She goes, Well, how much did you make? I go, $13. She goes, It's not for you, baby. It's not for you. And she goes, Are you serious? I go, No, I'm not serious, Mom. I'm not gonna take my shirt off in public. But the point is, she never knows when I'm gonna be serious, and or just joking around. So I have to hit her with something just absolutely ridiculous. And,
so your family, I mean, that's
13. You get some Chick-fil-A and a cup of coffee, and it's over.
Hashtag worth it.
Nothing to sneeze at. $13 is $13. So let's be real here, people. So you've got your podcast. You've done over 100 episodes, and clearly you two are funny together, and I think that's awesome. Did you come together? Carlos, your professional background is hygienist. Did you come together to have this podcast to share healthy messages about hygiene and dentistry, or was it just to have a good old time and be fun and make the world laugh and have fun in the process and maybe a ton of money?
Sandy, you want to handle this one?
So the purpose of the podcast, if it has one, is we call it the non-educational dental podcast, because and it is a sort of dental podcast because we see so many podcasts where they talk about research, and they talk about oral systemic link, and they talk about all these very valuable.
Careful, Sandy Lee.
I'm walking a line here.
That's our you're coming dangerously close.
Razor's edge.
So we have all of these podcasts that people can learn, get their CE, which is awesome. It's definitely valuable. But, Carlos and I said, you know what? What is the world missing that has no value? And that is a couple of dental hygienists goofing off and talking about everyday stuff. And then sometimes a little smidge, a little speckle of education.
A speckle.
Yeah, just a speckle.
You're not against giving them a speckle of oral systemic education.
Yeah, if it comes up.
But Sandy Lee, just a speckle?
Yeah, we don't know.
Nikki, did you book these two? What is up here?
You booked them, Chris.
Oh, you're right.
Sure that was you.
I'm shooting. Listen, if I can have any kind of impact on these two, if we can get them from one speckle to two speckles, if we can double up the speckle quotient, then we'll be happy. It's all good. But anyway.
I'll say this though. I'll counter with this. Who doesn't feel better after laughing for a little while?
Amen to that.
That's all I'm saying. It oxygenates your blood. it makes you smile. You
There's your
cry a
speckle.
little bit. Get your serotonin going.
Blood.
Boom, man.
You know,
Way
get
to
that
bring
pulse
it.
ox a little bit, and I find
This
it
has
for me.
CE credit because of that
Boom.
right there.
Done.
Like I don't drink and I don't get high or gamble or do anything crazy
anymore.
But if I'm feeling down, I quit last night.
Week.
But
last night.
But that was way back there. But if I'm having a bad day, a 5-minute set at an open mic, me just venting about the day, and I feel way better. It's magical, seriously.
That's cool.
Yeah. And
have y'all watched those like where like terminally ill patients just watch comedy and all they do is watch comedy and focus on more the power of positivity and
I've heard of it. I've never
and they're
seen
cured. I mean, their tumors disappear. And so I do believe that laughter and a positive attitude is it should be part of those pillars of health.
Yeah.
So when you just said that, in the back of my head I was like, oh yeah, that was the other thing we wanted to do, is cure cancer. You're welcome.
Well, that's
actually
that's rather lofty, but I will tell you, you are both 1 or 2 jokes away from curing my athlete's foot.
That's an accomplishment.
That's going to take an hour-long special, Doc.
You know, what is that? Lotrimin or whatever can do that too.
Sandy, I don't know if you remember, we talked about that. You brought this up one time, and you go, "Well, we're essentially doctors."
Yeah.
And I was like, "How was your day, Dr. Lee?" You were like, "It was great."
Yeah.
Dr. Rodriguez. I don't know if you remember that, but that was a couple years ago.
Dr. Rodriguez. Yeah.
We gave each other honorary
because we were like curing stuff with laughter and vitamin C.
You know what though? It's so true. I mean, and it may not be as hardcore as like the cure to cancer, but I tell you what, it can't hurt, and absolutely it helps.
Yeah.
And so I think I'm thankful for people that will bring a little bit of laughter to the world. I think it's the one thing, like if you were to ask me, like if there was something I wish I could do every day, don't go there. It is to laugh. It's to laugh.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I read a statistic, and I don't know how accurate it is. It said that the average 5-year-old boy laughs a couple hundred times a day.
Yeah.
And the average adult, 5.
If that.
That's sad, man.
Oh, man. So what a blessing that you both bring. Now with the podcast, I mean, have you decided to do have you ever done a comedy thing together, like on stage as a duo? I mean, you never even see that. A Smothers Brothers would be the last ones I can remember that ever got up there.
It's interesting you brought that up. We have a CE course that we do. It's a 3-hour thing. We closed out the Missouri State dental hygiene meeting a couple years ago, annual session.
Yep.
And the name of the course is Ninjas Don't Cry, and neither do dental hygienists. And Sandy and I are sitting at the front of the class on a stage thing, right? And they're kids. They're in their early 20s. You know what I mean? I'm 51, so these are almost babies to me. You know,
they are.
And anybody under 30, I'm like, I don't even take serious. You know what I mean?
Just don't go.
No offense, Nikki. I'm just saying. So they come in and they were going, "Is this ninjas?" I'm like, "You're damn right it is. Come on in, have a seat." Yeah. What's the course about?
Like when they walk in the room, like, is this?
Yeah.
They're ninjas? Confused. And
we were like, have to answer that verbally. You can just kind of go, yeah.
What's the course on it? We're like, we don't really know.
Enter
and basically,
it's
well, I'll give you a brief thing. It's an inner office communication team culture type of problem solving lecture. It encompasses a lot of things, but in the lecture, I do a little stand up and we tell funny stories, and we tell a couple heartfelt stories. You've heard me tell the story of me having a small heart attack on stage and being rushed to the hospital. And Sandy's, if you want to get into it, you can tell them a little bit about your thing. And we have people crying and laughing, and that's the best thing for us. We
at
take
the
you
same
through
time.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That's a skill.
Yeah, we have a
Crying
black
and
belt in
laughing.
it.
Wow. No one's
Sandy,
better.
what's you want to talk about your story or
Oh,
no?
yeah, so I'm an ovarian cancer survivor. And then
Oh, bless you.
yeah. And so that was like, pretty crazy and stuff. And then John and my husband John, we tried to have kids for years. We've lost 4 babies altogether. And so now we're childless. We're making the most of it, but I think the biggest message that our CE we wanted to bring across is that you never know what people are dealing with. So if little Jane at work, the assistant didn't sterilize your instruments before she left, well, maybe Jane has her dog at the vet that's dying, or something's going on, and we don't always see that from the outside. So it's big about changing your perspective to understand that other people are they're dealing with a lot too.
How could we make that the default for people to just move into when they see something they don't like? Because we're so quick to judge. It's like,
Easy.
ugh, they did that to make me mad. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, people, come on. Do you really think so? I mean, it's like,
It
I
takes
don't know.
work. It really does. Because I was raised with a perfectionist father, so everything had to be perfect a certain way, that sort of thing. A little OCD probably mixed in there, and I have some of those traits. So when somebody is not doing their job to the best of that I think they should be doing it, it would always bother me. So I've really had to focus on myself and those personality. For me, that's a personality flaw, and I want to do better, so I really had to work on it. It's a very intentional change of heart that has to take place. And am I there yet? No, but I've gotten a lot better.
Okay, so I can't imagine it's just as easy as changing your mind. I'm just going to do something different. What did you insert into your life, and what dedicated practice did you do
I,
to switch to?
I'm a Puerto Rican dude from New Jersey, and my default is, unfortunately, it's a little aggression. You know what I mean? Not physical, but just it's in the tone, it's in the how you carry yourself. That kind of Jersey, hey, one of those type of guys, right?
Are you one of those
And
guys that says violence is the only way to make you see sense?
no, I was never that serious with it. I've
No.
always been a clown. I've always been a joker. But I'll say this: I'm funny, but I'm not a clown. If that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm serious about being funny. I know it sounds it's an oxymoron, but I take it serious being funny. But 20, maybe 22 years ago, it was a new hygienist, just moved to Georgia, and one of the assistants is upset, and I go, "What's wrong?" She goes, "This lady yelled at me." I said, "What happened?" She goes, "I went to take a PA, and she snapped at me." And I go, "What happened?" She goes, "She's got a toothache. She wouldn't let me take it." I go, "Listen, you're letting it bother you." She goes, "But she was rude." I'm like, "She's got a baby with her. The kid's crying. She hasn't slept in 3 days. She might be a little short. She's hurting. This is going to cost her money. You don't know what's going on. Is she single? Is she going through some stuff with her, baby's father? Who knows?" But you're taking it to the chest. Why don't you just judo it and just be nice? You might be the only person that's been nice to this lady in the last 3 days.
Right. Right.
And
That's
she's
so
like,
true.
"I never thought about it that way." I go, "You're making it your problem when it has nothing to do with you." And earlier on, I've been through enough life things where you go, okay, well, this is how I try to handle things. And I'm not going to lie to you. You know, I get angry like anybody else. Like my instinct is to be a wise ass and to say stuff back. But I can't tell you how many patients I've won over by killing them with kindness. And it sounds corny, but it's true. And treat people the way you want to be treated, and be polite. It's simple,
If it irks you the wrong way, it's a fun game to play. It's like, how nice can you be to this person, right? To you know, I sometimes put it in my faith sense, I say, how good of a Christian can you be? Or how good of a, whatever your faith or belief is, how good of a kind, here's your chance. We don't always get, a chance to test out who we are, what we're made of, what we believe in.
Testing me, Jesus. The testing me.
Yeah. That's what my daughter says when she wants to slap somebody up. She goes, you're just lucky I found Jesus. Take one to you. Boom. So I'm really, and my daughter, God bless her, she is not even 5 feet tall, but she's very spirited. Okay, but yeah, I love this discussion about how we can go through this world, enjoy it better, because people, this podcast, once again, Time to Live. It's like, how do you want to live? If you're gonna be alive tomorrow, okay, good. What's the best way to go through life tomorrow? And if you can bring a smile or try on a different mindset that's kinder to the person that you think might have just done something to make you mad. It's like, I don't think so.
Whether you want to or not, every single one of us are going to make a difference in the world. We just have to decide how we want to make a difference in the world. And I believe every one of us are that we want to be a positive influence on the world. And
absolutely.
No one's profession is kind of like a fantasy thing.
True.
I don't have that kind of patience.
What?
I don't think most of us do.
Well, it works for Sandy Lee, but the rest of us,
we're not Sandy Lee, though.
We're not.
Her speckles, wealth of speckles.
This is a good rule, right? And someone told me a long, long time ago. He says there's when you anyone you can meet, you can choose to, just be neutral, improve their day, or make it worse.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's good.
Right?
Yes, I love that.
Who do you want to be?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So shine a little something on somebody's day, man. It'll make you feel better.
I want to piggyback on that because Deepak Chopra said one thing that I carry with me all the time. He always said, pull your pants up. He didn't say that. Cut that one out. Okay.
Wear a belt.
No,
he's home listening. I never said that. What's he talking about?
Listen, Nikki.
When did I say that?
Cut that. Please cut that out. But here's what Deepak Chopra said. He said, everywhere I go, with everyone I see, I will always bring a gift. Mm-hmm. I love that philosophy. It's just like what you just said, Carlos. It's what you can add to somebody's life, and it doesn't take much, and it's a good feeling, to lift somebody up. Machell, you're great at that. She's always loving on people and telling them how great they are. And
can I read something to y'all?
Here it comes.
Patients today. I love my patients like they're family and friends. I think we all do. Mm-hmm. So I had a husband and a wife, and they're younger, and they're really their treatment plans, both of them are rather large. One is, it's overwhelming when you have this combined $50,000-ish treatment plan. And so it's breaking that down and not, getting them away from that overwhelm, and we will get you there. They don't have $50,000. So
very few of us do.
Most people
Sandy
don't.
does.
You're right. So I've been seeing them for a while, and just loving them, but listening to them. Listen, and then let's come up with a solution together. And they sent me this. I give many of my patients my phone number, and there are times that I regret that, but most of the time I am so glad I do because they have questions. You get home, I only work 3 days a week. So anyway, this is what they sent me. We just wanted to say thank you so much for everything you do. You're an amazing hygienist and person. We love you and appreciate everything that you do for us. And she got teary-eyed when she was leaving today. And y'all, it's not about recognition or anything. It's exactly about what we're talking about. It's making, so to add on to that, and they're not going to listen to this, otherwise I wouldn't have said this. He just had this, Dr. Busky comes in and is going over these treatment plans, and his decay has progressed a lot. And so he had a big change in treatment. And then his wife only had one little thing. And so he's sitting in a chair, and one of the girls keeps walking by. And I went in to print out treatment plans and financials. And two of the girls came up to me, and they had some negative things to say about the look on my patient's face. And y'all, that stuff infuriates me, because I looked at them and I said, shame on both of you. Because they were just hit. They are trying to do everything they can to take care of themselves and address their disease state. And they just got hit with this amount right here. So that was a stressed look, and shame on you. And we don't make fun of people. Yeah, you just can't. It's one
don't
thing,
assume.
Carlos, when you're like, I'm messing with you and I don't know you. This is all in fun. This is different. This is different. I don't like mean people, and that was a mean moment. And of course,
no, I don't like bullies either. Yeah, I don't.
So,
Carlos, to your point about not liking bullies, did you tell a young friend of yours in grade school to go punch the bully in the mouth? That's why I'm asking you about violence.
I loved that story.
Is that any way to solve a problem? I mean, Carlos, is that you advising people to punch that bully in the mouth? Now, there's a little piece of me that likes that, but I'm asking the question.
I kind of like it a little bit too. I'm just going
to say. Is it okay to like it a little? Okay.
The guy deserved it, one.
Okay. Always.
And two, I didn't think he was going to do it, But yeah, I mean, but if we're going to be honest, again, no emotions, right? Facts, don't care about your feelings.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody's been a bully, sometimes the best medicine is a good sock to the mouth, and then and reset his ass. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I grew up in a rough neighborhood, Doc, where if you didn't stand up,
right,
you would get beat up on a daily basis. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I remember one time my brother, we had one bicycle, and we would take turns riding around the block. So I went to a Catholic school, and it was 180 degrees on the other side of the block, and during the weekends and on summer times we'd ride around the block on this bicycle. And he'd go one, and then I'd go one, and we would take turns. So one day, he's not coming, my brother. So I go looking for him the way he should be coming. And at the end of the block, near the school, which was closed, I see the neighborhood bully has him on the ground. He's sitting on our bike. And my brother was smaller, and he just had a birthday a couple days ago. He just turned 50. So
happy birthday to him.
Happy birthday, Lou. Yay. So he's on the ground, and it infuriated me to see this guy who was bigger than both of us. But it's sort of, I don't know, if you grew up with younger siblings, it's okay for you to smack your brother around, but nobody else better touch him. That type of thing.
Yep.
So I was picked up okay occasionally with someone else smacking my brother around.
And I don't know, there was a stick or a broomstick, a piece of 2x4. I don't know what it was. I just picked up a piece of garbage and I ran at him, and I whacked him off the bicycle. Again, it's not the nicest thing I've ever done, but he was about to steal our bike, and God only knows what he did to my brother. So the kid falls off the bike. Now there's two of us. As soon as my brother sees him, then he gets up. So now it's 2-on-1, even though we were smaller. So the guy runs off. And years later, after I joined the Navy, my mom tells me, "You remember that kid?" And I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Well, he was trying to rob someone, and they shot him and killed him." Oh, Lord. I mean, so he was on that trajectory, and unfortunately, it cost him his life. I mean, the guy was, but he was, I don't want to say he was a bad kid, but he was pretty mean. Grown, he was 14, 15 years old, beating up on a 10-year-old. That's not
right.
Nice. And I don't know, this story just took a dark turn, but the point was, sometimes you got to stand up for yourself. You got to push back.
You know what? When I read that, Carlos, I was like, yes, because my son he's 6'5" now, and I call him my gentle giant because he is the sweetest thing ever. And when he was in first grade, and I mean, he's very quiet. He's introverted. He's not loud like his mama. He was in first grade, and I was at work, Dr. Grathwright's office at the time, and I get this phone call from the principal, and I would freak out, what in the world is my son's principal calling me for? And worried, thinking something was wrong with him. And I answer the phone, and she was like, Miss Hudson, and I'm like, yes. And she starts laughing. And she said, Bryson's in my office eating lunch and playtime in my office. And I'm like, what in the world? And she said, he's not in trouble. We're pretending like he's in trouble. And I said, what happened? And she said, well, there's a young man in his classroom that's not very nice. And no one ever picked on, or rarely ever picked on my kid, because he's the biggest kid in the school.
Gentle giant.
Yes, but he's sweet. But no one's going to mess with a big kid like that. But there was a little boy in the class that was the smallest boy in the class, and this bully picked on him all the time. And it was a day that my son was just like up to here with it. And he told this kid, leave him alone. And on their way to lunch, and the bully pushed this little boy, and the little boy started crying. And my child punched him so hard that he laid him out. And the bully,
he had it coming.
He had it coming. Y'all, the teacher said, when I talked to his teacher, she said that it will be one of the most memorable moments of her entire teaching career, because she's like, if you could have seen the look on Bryson's face when he punched that kid, like his eyeballs were huge, and it scared him, because he
was probably scared and upset, but he did what he felt he had to do. Yeah,
he was so upset that little boy kept getting picked on, and he's a sweet kid. So anyway, that story made me think about my kid.
So here's a bigger question: where did that kid learn that type of behavior from?
Yeah.
That's kind of sad. You know what I mean?
That's very true.
Somebody said, "Hey, yeah."
Another lesson is, how close are people to the end of their rope before you push the wrong button and you get laid out because you were messing with somebody?
Yeah,
right. You said the wrong thing at the wrong time.
I don't mess with anybody, because there's UFC fighters out there.
Yeah,
you know?
Right. I know how people can take a chance. Oh my gosh, I don't know. Of course, we see all these things on YouTube, and I saw the one where some guy picked up a beer can off the floor because some kid was hassling him, and this podcast is taking a very strange turn. But this obnoxious bullying punk. Then this guy, this guy dropped his can of soda, and the punk kicked the can, and the guy picked up the can of soda, and I mean, he put it square into this guy's head.
I saw that just recently.
Did you see that?
Yeah,
yes. There's a big thing about it. We got some memes on our Facebook page.
Oh my!
The world's a crazy place. That's why.
Let me
leave
just
people
take
alone.
A little bit of a
Let's go down happy.
Turn here.
Yeah,
I want to know, was that a defining moment in the relationship of you and your brother when you came to his rescue? Or did it sort of, was it what your brother expected, or was it bond you guys forever? Was it, I don't know. It seems like it could have been something like that, but not that it had to be.
I think that was one of the most changing type, and he knew that it was one of those brotherly trust things. Like he knew if he called me, I'm going to help him out, as an adult or whatever. It's just,
I like it for that, like, oh my gosh, that's my brother and that's our bike. And you come on the scene and take care of things. So like, we all want a family member. We all would like to think that our family members would do that for us. So we would do it for each other.
Some people don't have that. Some people don't have good families, and it's sad,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That does, it's a heartbreaker.
And that's why we exist, Doc, just to sort of, we talk about unicorns and Bigfoot, pterodactyls, and just ridiculous things. Different
Someone
scenarios.
had to say it, yeah.
What would you do if, one of those type of things. And it's an absolute ridiculous, absurd podcast, but it's so dumb that I'm editing and I'll sit there and laugh like an idiot. Because if it makes me laugh, then I hope other people will enjoy the ridiculousness of it, and just sort of decompress on their way home from work.
We invent things too. Convandles.
Share more, please. What?
Convandles.
Convandles. I don't know that one. What's that?
It's convertible sandals. You got a night out on the town. You want high heels. You just bloop, 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 and Your sandals are now high heels. Easy.
Starts raining. It comes with little Velcro things to cover the toes up.
Yep. Done.
I'm
Brilliant.
I'm on Amazon
snowing.
already.
What was that?
You're good.
I said it starts snowing and you got your your peep toe high heels on. You just bloop bloop. Now you got.
Okay, can I just say
with...
that really is brilliant? Like, if you could really tuck that into where you can't normally see that in that peekaboo shoe, and then you could whip that out if needed.
She made a prototype out of flip flops and newspaper.
Okay, my brain just left this conversation. I'm not. Maybe I should get more into shoes.
So stupid.
Carlos, we have a video on our Facebook page somewhere. I guess maybe we should revive that. But yeah, I did a commercial for it. Very low budget, but still
low budget.
When was that? Because I'm gonna have to go find that.
Oh gosh,
Did you act like it was real, or was it?
Oh yeah.
I mean, you were. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
100% real. So
I don't do things halfway.
No.
Like I'm full on committed.
If there's going to be vandals in the world, you're going to do it the way it should be done.
Exactly. You don't cut corners with convandals.
No.
American made.
Make it real.
Made out of paper towel tubes and Velcro and magazine parts that I took.
If somebody wanted to order one, do you have an email address? If anybody listening to this might want to order one.
Yes,
they're rarer than the Kanye West sneakers. There's only been one pair made, and it's in the Smithsonian.
They're like $4 billion. So.
Oh.
But if you'd like to order them, they are at offyourflosser@gmail.com.
There you go.
For a limited time.
All right, hurry up, people. Start saving those pennies.
It's a 32-minute episode. It's episode 100, and it's the one where we finally ate a ghost pepper and recorded it. And,
who did that?
Us.
Yeah.
We're committed.
Why?
Geniuses.
Why? I told you, full speed ahead.
Yeah.
Very
new jobs, new plumbing, and finally the ghost pepper challenge. And I said, "Oh my God," maybe 62 times. It was the worst thing.
That was a bad one.
So
it was bad.
I really question the sanity of anyone who wants to do a ghost pepper challenge.
We're okay with that.
What's that scale? That
it's
hotness
okay.
Scoville?
Scoville index.
Scoville. Yep.
Yeah.
Here's the thing: the jalapeno is about 50,000.
Yeah.
Actually, no, it's about 7,000. A cayenne pepper is 50. The ripe ghost peppers, 850,000. Dried the way we had it, $1 million.
No.
Oh my God.
So people that actually try those, their body just starts shooting out fluid, like their nose runs, tears come out of their eyes. I think their ears bleed.
They crap their pants. I mean,
it's bad. It is not good.
It's pretty bad.
So Carlos, you have this question that you ask people. They said, you have fun asking people questions that like just to throw them or just to make no sense, or like, here's a question you've never been asked. I mean, what's your favorite question to ask people? And we're going to ask Machell that question.
What's my favorite thing to ask people?
Maybe I'm making that up. Well, you said you just sort of like maybe you just bring it up to each other. You'll ask each other questions on your podcast, kind of when you're going off into a certain direction and you don't know where you're headed. What are the questions you ask each other?
Oh, Sandy is the question queen. And she's, when we interview people, we ask them a bunch of ridiculous questions. What's some of the most recent ones that you were doing last week?
First of all,
like interview Chris and I.
Well, okay, what kind of animal would you be if you could be any animal whatsoever? That's, pretty simple one. And then we answer 1, 2, 3, and we answer at the same time. And obviously, because Carlos and I have been together for so long, mentally we're just connected like mesh. We answered, and it wasn't
in
even
unison,
close.
The same thing, probably, right? Not even close. Okay,
not even close. Well, because I said alligator, and he knew I was thinking unicorn. But anyway.
Well, Machell, what animal would you want to be, Machell?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, see, this is where I'm no fun because I'm like, oh, I have to think about this. Like, I need someone to email me questions so I can be prepared for them. There are so many animals. Like, I'd have to morph and like series of them together.
Yeah. So, Machell, if you are fun, and so I don't want to hear this negative talk that I'm no fun. It's like, listen, if the first thing that came to your mind was like, I'm a sudsy squirrel. It's like,
So just
what the heck? Just whatever. You could pick an animal, just throw anything out there, and you make it, and you own it.
So my nickname when I was growing up was Monkey.
See?
I've always loved monkeys, but I'm currently in love. And one of my friends, she calls me Unicorn. Actually, a group of So I think we're soul sisters. Soul sisters. Just gonna say. But I'm currently in love with the sheepadoodle.
Ooh.
Have y'all seen this creature? Know.
Is that a shepherd dog, a sheepdog, and a labradoodle? It's like that one. What's her name? Bunny, the one that talks.
Okay, I don't know this.
What?
I had a chimpanzee growing up.
A what?
Well, who didn't?
A chimpanzee, and Sandy had an alpaca kit, and
yep. Till I was 9.
See, y'all morphed animals together too, because those do not.
These are one-offs and just sort of nature's outtakes, and
doesn't fly.
Okay, is that not? Can y'all see that?
Oh yeah, that's Bunny. Wow. If you look up Bunny on Instagram, she has her own page, but she talks.
Okay, how sweet is that?
That is an adorable looking dog.
My whole
you get sucked into a hole, and it'll be 3 years later before you know it.
Carlos, you mentioned that after you had your heart attack, that
yes,
you made some changes in your life, professionally and personally, to reduce stress and increase happiness. I get that you probably get happier when you're making other people happy and laugh.
Yes. When I'm in a good mood, everybody's in a good mood. No, well, I quit working clinically, and I'm working with our buddy Elijah Desmond. We're doing some dental airway marketing with Driven Dental Marketing, and so I get to work from home, and I see my grandson who stays with us a lot of times, and but my wife thinks that because I'm home that I'm home, and I'm like.
Yeah,
I'm still working. I'm just, you see me, but I'm not available.
Act like I'm not here.
Pretend my door is closed when you see me.
She's like, well, pretend this trash is, taking itself out, and walk it out. So
we'll just see this bag flying across the room.
Carlos, are you making the grade as a grandfather? I mean, what's the report?
Oh yeah, no, I'm a baby whisperer, and when he's antsy, a little milk. Throw him on my shoulder, and we're both asleep in about 15 minutes.
All right.
At least Carlos is.
Yeah. that was me when I would read my kids' books. It's like I'm gone in 5 minutes. It's like Dad.
Spot rub.
Sandy Lee, what are you doing outside of the podcast?
So I work in public health full time, dental hygiene. And then I added another day, so I'm full time plus. A day in pediatric dental office, but I work for my very best friend, so it's not as workish as work is. And then obviously podcast, and then I run a Facebook group for dental hygienists. It's called Lighthearted RDH. I'm actually going to be at the Dental Fest in Miami on the social media panel that Elijah has representing Lighthearted RDH. But it's basically the podcast in a Facebook group where like when I first started it's been around for 6 years now, and I posted dance videos and meme wars, outdo the last meme, stuff like that. So my unofficial mission is to just make people smile, make people laugh. Life is tough. Like let's chill and relax and let our hair down. Sorry, Carlos. Just have fun.
It's figure speech.
Because life is short, and it could be even shorter. So just Have fun.
Yep.
Yeah.
You enjoy bringing joy to the world. Both of you do. And
We
you're
do.
great at it. You're fantastic at it.
You have made this a very wonderful and enjoyable episode of It's Time to Live. I want to thank you both for making the time to be here. I heard we might even end up on your podcast, possibly.
Ooh, that would be wonderful.
Hey.
That was one of the nods. It's like he's nodding yes, but in his mind he's saying nod on you.
Oh, hell no. That's not even a no.
No, of course.
Our 2027 calendar's open.
Well,
that's
could
right.
you just slot us in? Just, and
we'll take it.
Because I'll remember, because I remember things like that.
We'll see what we can do. No, we'd be happy to have you guys.
Fun with you both. We really want to have you both, to come to an AAOSH event. And Carlos, you're kind of a team. Maybe we should do a live podcast from the next AAOSH scientific session.
We should.
And get something going there. Might be a little harder to bring Sandy Lee in because where do you live, Sandy Lee?
About an hour south of St. Louis in the woods by a tree.
Okay, but Carlos is right there in Atlanta. And you're by that tree? Are you by that tree?
One tree? Yeah, the one by the other tree, but yeah.
You're living large.
Yeah.
I'm looking at my flowers right now. So I did a speaking event with Today's RDH on Friday, and Kara sends us flowers.
Oh,
afterwards.
that's
so
very nice.
So Machell is going to give you those flowers because you
So
are
I
a
am.
guest of the month. The two
You
of
are. So I'm going to send each of you. I'm going to split them, and you'll be getting them.
She can have them all.
Flower.
No, give Carlos the bottom half of the flowers.
I'll take the thorns. Give me a
I
handful of
thought,
thorns.
how sweet is that? So we should.
Yeah.
So
She
thank
must
you,
have a
Kara.
nice
I had to
budget.
give her a little shout out because
Give a little shout out.
That was super cool.
So for those of you that are wondering, like, what is special or different about Machell today? She is broadcasting today from Sea Lab. She is 20,000 leagues under the sea.
Yeah.
And so
That's
we're thankful for the miracle of technology that she can still join us today. That is unbelievable. And by all accounts, who'd have thunk it? But anyway, so thank you for making it today, Machell. Carlos and Sandy Lee, you guys are awesome. I'll be checking out your podcast. I've got,
please do.
If I do the binge thing, I got 128 episodes.
Yeah.
I'll be listening till I knocking on the door of age 100, but I don't care. It's worth it. Worth it.
They're usually 45 minutes to an hour. So
okay.
125 hours. Hey, isn't that
about
movie
5-6
guy
days
that cut
worth?
his arm off? Yeah.
Right?
what?
Yeah.
Was that 124?
You might
125.
You might want to do the same. No.
James Franco.
No.
Y'all
please,
have an episode about a man who cut his arm off?
There was a movie.
It's a movie. It's 120 hours or.
It was a hiker, got his arm stuck in a rock, and he cut his own hand off just to get away.
Spoiler alert!
Are y'all serious? Because I'm just.
It's in the preview.
It's based on a true story too.
Just one more happy moment brought to you by Time to Live podcast. Brought to you by the American Academy for Oral Systemic Health. Where we bring you up, but we'll take you right down.
Right, yeah.
You don't watch it.
This is an elevator roller coaster.
Yeah, baby. Hang on tight. It's a wild ride.
And then the Wonder Woman, 1984.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I'm still annoyed by it.
It really is
I didn't
horrible.
even see it.
I enjoyed the first one, and then they hyped it all up. I got HBO Max, and all the cool scenes were in the preview.
Yeah,
awful.
I know, and I
Those
Wonder Woman.
What was that, like 2 hours or something? We can never get those 2 hours back.
Brutal. And I like Kristen Wiig, man.
So Carlos and Sandy Lee, where can people find you?
At
Interesting
my house.
question.
Yeah.
Currently. No. So we have a website. It's still in progress, but Carlos is busting his butt to get it going. It's offyourflosser.com.
Yep,
and then of course we have our email address if you want to email. We do offer that CE course, Ninjas Don't Cry. And that's offyourflosser@gmail.com. And then Carlos, do you want to give them the others?
You can catch us anywhere. Apple, music, Google Play, Stitcher, all the podcasts, things. Spotify, just anywhere you can that has sound. We're probably
and YouTube. We're on
there.
the tube, man.
On the YouTube, and if you want to look at our silly faces, you can do that too.
Yeah.
Well, we love you guys, and thank you for being with us today to bring a little element, to put a smile on our faces. And we could just go on and on. So whenever we need,
y'all are great.
If we need an infusion of Off Your Flosser, we are going to have you back. But I'm telling
you got my number.
I'm serious about the AAOSH event in Atlanta.
No, put me down, Doc. Seriously.
In September. If you've liked, people in our audience, if you like what you heard, we got to get them to that. So I'm going to do what I can to make that happen. So
we could record some live podcasts there. Nikki, are you going to that?
I will be there. Yes.
Hey,
so we should do some live podcasts. Sandy Lee, will you be there?
It depends on the date. You said September 23rd, and my precious big tuna nephew is turning 1 on the 22nd. So
I have him beat. I am turning 46 on the 23rd.
Yeah, you got him beat by a few years.
Just a couple.
I got all of you beat. If you add up all of your ages, you might get close to where I'm at.
That is not true.
Because I'm I'm 2.5. So
we're not talking about how old we act.
No. Listen.
No, totally.
Hey, it's
y'all are awesome.
It's how you feel, and I feel great. It felt great to be with you all today.
Same
so
here.
Thank you so much.
Same here.
It's so much fun.
Thank you, Nikki.
This is a boost to my mindset and to my energy. So thank you so much, and we'll see you again soon. I don't know where, but I know it's going to be somewhere.
Yes.
So once again, Carlos Rodriguez and Sandy Lee, thank you very much. Off Your Flosser is their podcast. You want to check it out. Don't listen to theirs before you listen to ours.
No, you can't.
Oh, heck, I don't care. It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah.
All right.
Cross-platform, Doc.
Cross-platform is where it's at, baby.
That's it. That is
all right.
it.
So we want to thank
Have
the
a good
American
night,
Academy
guys.
for Oral Systemic Health. Good night, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Good night, y'all.
Bye.
Have a
Take
happy
care.
rest
Thank you.
of your week.
Bye-bye.